today, kind of put what you're used to seeing and experiencing to the side. And instead of me like trying to motivate you or kind of try to change your energy, so to speak, what I'd really like to do is to change your headset more than anything. So if you guys have a phone, I kind of set it to the side. Because in order to get the most out of this, I want you to be present. We only have about 45 minutes together, so I want it to actually mean something. Because I can leave here today, and I may see you again, I may not, but what's on the line today is much more than just these next 45 to 60 minutes. What I'm going to talk about today, like I said, I hope to leave you with a new pair of lenses. So you're walking in with one pair of lenses. I want you to actually walk out with another pair. And I want you, like I said, to change your headset. So coming in, the only way to really change the headset is to be willing to take the one that you have on off for just a minute. And my promise to you is that you'll leave, and I heard somebody mention it earlier, there's about a 12% gap between where your business is averaging and where your top 3 competitors are, right? Does that sound familiar? So the top 3 companies in your industry, they're kind of outbeating you by an average of 12. It's not a lot. I'm going to show you something, 4 points, that if you focus on one of them, that gap will shrink. If you do 2 of them, it will almost go away. If you do all 4 of them over the course of the next year, that gap can be completely eliminated. It's a big promise. It's a big promise. But in addition to that gap, what I'm really doing is showing you guys how to change not just the futures of your business, but your lives and everybody's lives that you're in contact with on a daily basis. Big promise, right? How's it sound?
Good.
Are you in? Are you guys here? Are you with me?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. I'm going to you if I need you, right? If they fall asleep, I'm pulling on you. So what does it mean to grow a business with purpose? You know, there's a lot of discussion on profits, on what do you do to increase market share. I've heard a lot of things mentioned earlier today. And the one thing that's really cool that you're already doing really well is everybody in the room and everybody I've seen up here so far is focusing on the magic word, which is relationships. I'm going to show you what's next after relationships. Relationships is the first way to engage in a conversation. What we're going to do today is we're going to take relationships and we're going to blast it into about 10 years in the future. I promise you, if you do this, your business will be around for a long, long time. All right, so why am I here? You know, it means a lot to me to be here because 6 years ago, I never thought that I would be here sharing with you, but not only that, sharing the story that I'm about to share with you. You know, in 2009, December 1st, everything in my life changed. Going forward a little bit to about 2007, if some of you guys can think where you were at, for me, it was literally my golden years. I had everything. I had 2 homes in Southern California. I had the perfect relationship. I was making plenty of money. I had a business that was thriving. It is literally going to be the future for me. And December 1st, 2009, all that changed. Let me go back and take you about 6 weeks earlier. I received a phone call. I was with my sister, and I was having brunch with friends like I normally do on a Sunday. My sister calls, and she says, "What are you doing?" "Oh, I'm having brunch on Sunday." "Hey, do you mind to go outside where you can talk and have nobody around?" And I thought, well, this could be anything. So I went outside, and she quickly told me, "Todd is in the hospital. He's attempted to take his life, and you need to get here right away." Todd, by the way, is my older brother, who's 5 years older than I am to this day. So I rushed off to Texas. My sister and I ended up kind of cleaning up all of his affairs, moved him to Houston, where we proceeded to take care of him and to make sure that he was okay. Obviously, when you attempt or decide that your life is no longer worth anything, there's some things going on. So for the next 6 weeks, my sister and I worked with him to figure out what was really going on. And then on December 1st, 2009, I woke up to 5 missed phone calls. And I knew what the calls were for. I knew. Picked up my phone, and there were 5 missed phone calls from my sister. And unfortunately, I'd gotten the bad news that my brother had taken his life. I'm not telling you the story to tug at your heartstrings or in somehow to activate some different emotion. What I'm telling you is my brother had everything. He had friends. He had a brilliant job. At the time of his death, he was one of the top teachers who worked for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. He worked with gifted and talented kids. He had money. He had a decent amount of money. He had a future, he had goals and aspirations. But the one thing that he lacked was purpose. He lacked purpose in life. So in addition to somebody who's willing to remove their existence on earth, I want to tell you that businesses lack this thing as well. And it's what makes it difficult sometimes for people to come to work and to continue to do what they do every single day. But as this quote suggests, our purpose here on life isn't to make money. It's not to grow market share. It's to live a life of absolute purpose. Would you agree? You guys are quiet. I'm about to shake you up. So before my brother passed away, I would have recognized myself as an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 8 years old. I actually started that business with my brother. I went door to door. I sold lawn mowing services to all of our neighbors. And like a really good entrepreneur, I went back and told my brother he had to do all the work. And I collected all the money. Now we're starting to wake up. After December 1st, 2009, I became a social entrepreneur. And I'm very proud of the fact that today, every single client I work with, every single project, everything I do has to be with purpose. Every company I work with. I actually just worked with a company a couple weeks ago. The mission of this company is to transform generational poverty into generational wealth. How cool is that? And this company, by the way, teaches people how to become private lenders. What if I told you, hey, would you like to know a little bit more about private lending? Or what if I told you, how would you like to play a role in transforming generational poverty into generational wealth? Totally different experience, totally different interaction, right? So I'm here to show you a couple of different ways for you to instantly activate the purpose and the drive within your companies. Before I do that, though, let me ask somebody here, someone who's brave. Why are you here?
Because Mel expected it.
I knew that was going to happen. So specifically, you're here because you have free lunch, right? Specifically, you're here because you want to connect with people you do business with. But why are you really here?
Because I expected to have a takeaway from it.
Globally, he said he expected to have a takeaway. Tell me more. Why are you really here?
Because 26 years ago, I committed myself to serving people, and this is part of that journey.
26 years ago, he committed himself to serving people, to serving others. We are all in a really interesting time right now. And I specifically went back to 2007 in my life because that was my golden year. But take yourself back to where you were in 2007. 2008 is where things got a little sketchy. From the time of 2007 to 2030, we are all collectively right now in what's called the shift age. What's the age before the shift age that a lot of us still think we're in? The information age. The information age happened about 20 years before the shift age, and the reason why I'm telling you this is everything we're experiencing right now, all you have to do is turn on a television, pick up a newspaper, talk to your friends, talk to your clients, and you can feel that we're in a shift right now. Would you agree? For better or worse, I am an eternal optimist. So when I see things like the shift age pop up, actually, by the way, this theory is not mine. It's written by an author by the name of David Houle, who is a futurist. And David, along with other futurists, which, by the way, I was turned off by that word when I first heard it, but futurists are scientists who predict future trends based off of scientific data about how we all behave. Let me say that another word. They predict what's going to happen in the future based off of how we behave and the data we've collected based on how we behave. And all of his predictions about, I think it's like a 90% success rate, have all come true. And again, they're based off of data. The shift age right now is important to know because it's shifting the way you do business, but more importantly, it's shifting the way your customers are doing business with you. The transformation decade, we are right in the middle of it. The transformation decade started in 2010. And again, I told you 2007 was the beginning of the shift age. So from 2007 to 2010, that 3-year period was kind of an awkward moment where we were all getting adjusted to this transformation decade. What happens in 2007 to 2020? Everything is changing. There are massive changes in an aging demographic. The way we communicate and the transparency of communication is like it's never been in the world. Look at Twitter right now. It's predicting wars before they happen. It's showing people where wars are happening based on information that's left there in real time. And it's also determining the way your customers are doing business with you. We're in the beginning, we're right in the middle of this. Do you understand what a big deal this is? Not yet. The old way of doing business, I work with a lot of companies right now who do business the old way, successfully. They're making so much money. The old way is to first focus on profits. I talked about this. And inadvertently, when you make more money through profits, guess what happens? You have more customers, or you gain more market share. What happens when you gain more market share? You need to know how to service them and take care of them, so you get more operations in place. And guess who gets the last pick? People. People are last. Again, people are making a lot of money doing this. But guess what? Quality customer service is now becoming an expectation. It is not a differentiator in business anymore. It's a commodity. Who experiences that now? That it's no Yelp. Somebody mentioned Yelp earlier. Facebook, the way we communicate is quickly changing the way people will do business with you, which is why becoming a business with purpose is the new absolute must. What does it mean to be a business with purpose? Obviously, you need profits, you need more market, you need good systems and operations to stay in business, but what does it really mean? And by the way, I say this is the new absolute must because, and somebody said this earlier, the conversation you're not having, somebody is having it right now, and they're beating you. Somebody said that earlier. This is the new absolute must. Gordon, you wanted to pass your business down to the gentleman that works for you, right? I ensure that will happen with this. Purpose, mission, and culture is the way we're going. If you don't have a purpose that you can draw from quickly, guess who doesn't know it? Your customers, your clients, the 12%. They know it. There's a statistics that says 43% of consumers will buy your product because you're doing the right thing. That's it. I mean, I'm surprised you guys aren't jumping up. Like, 43% of consumers will buy your product over his because you're doing the right thing. Because you have a purpose and you're willing to tell people about it. Because you have a mission, you're willing to share it. And because you have a culture and you're willing to experience it. This whole room has a culture, by the way. I've been experiencing it myself all day. If I could sit you down and talk to you about it one-on-one, I could create a list of what that culture is. It's a very, very, very cultural, rich organization. If you could take that and filter it down to your businesses, find a way to communicate it, that 12% gap goes away. Who's with me? Nobody. Two people. 2 people are with me. 2 people, by the way, who are going to outpace you. Conscious capitalism is what's happening in the future. Who here has heard of the word conscious capitalism? Has anybody? What have you heard about it? Anything you can share with us? Nothing that popped off. No? So conscious capitalism is a new kind of trend in business. And you're seeing a lot of the remnants of it or traces of it in the news. But companies right now are using this as their competitive advantage. It's up to you to decide how that fits into your business model, and it's up to you to decide which ones you totally activate. But I promise if you activate them, sales and experiences are going to go up. I love this quote, especially for those of us who have kids and families. We need to become the parents of our future. We need to be building our companies for the future, not serving as children, learning from them as if it's our past. First step of conscious capitalism is, and I've said this word a lot, is really serving a higher purpose. I'm not here to tell you what your higher purpose is. I am here to tell you that if you have one, you're going to start attracting ideal customers. You're going to be having interesting conversations you've never had before. You're going to see sales increase, turnover decrease, market share increase, you name it. When you do this right, you have nothing but to gain from it. Any questions so far? Any thoughts, feedback? So let me tell you a story with regards to higher purpose. You know, consumers these days are more aligning themselves with the values of the people they do business with. You know, more consumers these days are willing to spend more money with a product or service provider just because of the purpose that they stand for. But it goes way beyond that. The other day I was with the CEO, the same one actually whose mission is to turn generational poverty into generational wealth. I was in a meeting with him and this young entrepreneur, social entrepreneur, and the CEO asked me, he was flying back to San Francisco, and he said, do you mind to go have dinner with this guy? Do you mind to go to a town hall that he's hosting tomorrow? And in full transparency, I went because I wanted to hire him to be a speaker at this other event I was doing. But the joke was totally on me because when I got there, I ended up being a part of this town hall meeting in Encinitas, California. Has anybody heard of that or been there? You have? Cool things are happening in Encinitas. Keep your ears open for that. Encinitas is participating in what's called the fourth sector. Anybody heard of the fourth sector? So the three sectors right now are corporations, so business, for-profit businesses. The second is are nonprofit organizations. The third is government. And the fourth is now the fourth sector, which would be people like myself. The fourth sector is being activated by government right now to help solve local problems at a local level. If you guys noticed, we're moving back towards local, towards community, right? You feel it, you know it. Somebody, I think somebody high up that I should know, mentioned earlier, we exist to make sure that farmers can grow food and provide it to their local communities. Think about that. Do you need a better purpose than that? I mean, it's powerful. I was back in the room like, oh my God, it's beautiful. I wrote it down. Seriously, I wrote it down, and I was like, oh my God, you couldn't have teed me up better with that statement, and with a lot of them along the way, by the way. So the fourth sector, by the way, I'm participating in this focus group that's helping to teach government how to incentivize B corporations, for-benefit organizations, blah, blah, blah. Basically, any organization that exists for a higher purpose. Let me say that again. The government is looking to people like us to teach them how to incentivize people like us to do business for our local communities. We are playing an entirely new ballgame. We are playing with a whole new set of rules, and I'm telling you, I couldn't be more excited about it. Conscious leadership. Tell me your name. You just said something about your husband? I'm sorry? Chelsea, that's right. I wrote your name down. So Chelsea said something earlier today when she was on the panel that is the epitome of conscious leadership, which is she's like, I get out there and I go in the cubicles and I'm down there in the grit and grime with my team. Conscious leaders know that your business is not about profits. Your business is about aligning your purpose with your stakeholders, which are her team. Your business is about creating value for stakeholders, aligning the mission with the community, creating opportunities all around you. This is something, my guess is a lot of you are already doing this. You're already in the trenches. You're already conscious capitalists. Now, if you create a conversation around that and bring it back to your teams, now something starts to come alive. You're already doing it. My challenge, for lack of a better word, is to go back and have that conscious leadership conversation with them. There's so much data around why this supports it. There's a gentleman by the name of, what's his name? Tidwell, John Tyndall, I'm sorry, who is the CEO of Container Store. Who here has been to the Container Store? One person. The Container Store, so as Mel mentioned, I used to live in New York City. And one of the best things about New York City, or the worst things, is trying to get anything into your apartment. It is horrible. So here I am trying to outfit my entire apartment in New York, and I have to decide, am I going to get the chair or am I going to get the desk? You can't have both, because there's only so much you can fit in a taxi. So I walk up to Container Store, and I couldn't believe the level of service there. And I didn't know why. And right on the front door it said, $25 will move everything. What do you think I bought? Two. Two of everything. Two of everything. But it wasn't until the other day when I was researching conscious capitalism, because I wanted to get as much data to support the CEO, and this is really good for you, is the CEO of the Container Store subscribes to these rules. The first thing he does is he pays his employees double what the average retailer pays. On average, an employee at the Container Store makes $50,000 a year. The reason why, I know I see some people that are looking at that as an opportunity. The second reason is, so he pays them double because he says that it's a way for him to attract a motivated workforce. And check this out, a motivated workforce has 3 times the productivity. So let me do the math. Pay double, produce 3 times. Good investment? Yeah. He also subscribes to the fact that those people become agents of his purpose. He doesn't have to be on the floor. So he is very much about aligning the purpose, the mission, the vision, all the way down into the culture of the company. Questions? No. You guys are very, you're getting it. I'm assuming you're retaining all of this. I'm assuming you're really into this. Oh, yeah. So my question is to you, and Eric, I asked it to you earlier, is what is your why? What is your higher purpose? For some people, it's to serve a higher power. Some people, it's to serve families. For some people, it's to serve the memory of somebody lost. But I guarantee you, I wake up every single day and remember it. And it's the reason why I'm here, and it's the reason why I do the things that I do. Can you tell I'm passionate about it? Does anyone in the room question my authenticity? No, and it comes through with every single client I work with. It also comes through in clients I won't work with. So thank you. Third of the 4 points of conscious capitalism, stakeholder orientation. So this is really interesting. I'm going to go to the next slide. We have moved business models. And some people in this room may not like this, which is awesome. Thank you. The business model of yesterday has given way to the new model. We are no longer, actually, we are a corporate society now driven towards success through our stakeholders. Let me say it another way. We're an organization now. We're a community of entrepreneurs, of business leaders who are now focusing on the stakeholders in our organizations. Who are your stakeholders? Shout them out. Clients. Excuse me? Spouse. Great one. Self. Someone said self, right? Staff, beautiful. So your stakeholders are people, I mean, obviously I won't go into a whole strategic analysis here, but your stakeholder is just that anyone who has a stake in the success or failure of your business. A huge stakeholder that we don't talk about enough are communities. We always talk about our staff, we talk about our families, but we forget we are all moving towards community-driven organizations. You know, business, I love this quote. Businesses have always existed as a way for humans to come together, to perpetuate our survival, and to flourish as a community. Businesses. I used to think that business, when I was in music school and thought I was going to be this artist, I always looked at business as really stuffy. I always looked at it as a very limiting way to be creative. And then I got into business and realized that it's like having children. It's like the most creative way of giving life and growing something besides having children. It's incredible. So being able to have experiences with people, with your stakeholders through the growth of those businesses takes an entirely different experience. It's no longer about growing profits, growing market, growing systems. Who does that excite? Anybody here get excited about growing profit shares? We got one. I appreciate your honesty. 2, now making money is exciting. Does it wake you up? Does it wake you up with excitement? You can't wait to run to work? Yeah? We all need a purpose. If yours is to wake up and make money, that's your purpose. Share it with the world. Share it with your stakeholders. I keep losing. You guys still with me? Anybody ever heard Firms of Endearment? It's very cool. So the Firms of Endearment are taken from a book by a guy named Raj Sidani or Sidasani, one of those two. He did an interesting study in 2010 where he took 28 of the companies he identified as the most socially responsible. It's a much easier word to say. How are we doing on time? Good? Okay. What's that? Cool. So he did a study of all the companies that were the most socially responsible. 28 corporations he identified. What he found was 18 out of those 28 had outperformed companies on the S&P 500 index because they were purpose-driven, they had conscious leadership, they had stakeholders massively involved in the day-to-day operations, communication, marketing of their business. And last but not least, they had a conscious culture. This, in my mind, is the most important one. Actually, I think purpose is high up there, but this is how you embody your purpose on a day-to-day basis. And do I have your permission to take you through one quick exercise? Yeah. Thank you. So if you don't have a pen and a piece of paper, grab your cell phone. I'm a huge proponent of using your cell phone if you were to go into my phone and go to my notes section, I have everything in there. Pictures of notes of everywhere I travel to. I actually have a list in my phone. It's called My Favorite Things. So I'm on the road quite a bit, so sometimes if I'm on an airplane and I'm so tired of traveling, I'll take out my phone and read my favorite things like peanut butter cups, puppies. So conscious culture is the embodiment of values, principles, practices, everything that's underlying the purpose and why your company exists. Conscious cultures foster more of an emotional experience or just an experience in general. Who here has a written culture statement in your office or that you talk about with your teams? Awesome opportunity right there. Remember in the beginning I said if you do this one thing, my friends, it will change not only your profits, your market, your operations, and your people, but you will wake up with a different attachment You'll wake up with a different purpose and excitement, a rebirth with your business. So there is a CEO in Malaysia. His name is Vishaan Lakiani. He runs one of the most successful personal and professional development organizations on the planet. It's called Mind Valley. Not only is it one of the most successful PD organizations, personal development, it's also been voted one of the best places to work for on the planet. How does he do it? I was curious because one of the CEOs I work with flew out to Malaysia about 2 or 3 weeks ago to meet Vishaan. And I was curious about, what he was going to learn. So Vishaan has what's called a Dream Manager process he activates with all employees. So the Dream Manager process is built into 3 phases. And this is what I want you to do. This may be a stretch for some of you, but I challenge you all, the most masculine men in the room, to push yourselves out of your comfort zone and do something you've never done before to get something you've always wanted. Number 1 step of the Dream Manager. And Vishaan does this, and he does it with every employee that walks through the door. And by the way, they post this in front of their cubicles. You do this with your team, your sales associate now, your turnover. You do this, you will know people. Vishaan says you get to know people no better than understanding what their dreams are. First question I want you to answer for yourself, and be willing to ask this of others. What objects, physical objects or experiences do you want to gain in life? If it's for me, I'm dying to get a Porsche 911. I'm dying to get one. It's a little crazy and absurd. But what physical object or experience do you have? I want to go to Cuba. I want a Porsche 911 Carrera Turbo, stupidly insane, expensive car that could do so much better things with that money, but I want one. And I want to go to Cuba. Write yours down. Who doesn't know how to answer that one? Raise your hand, seriously. Okay. No car you don't want? House, home? Got it. Got it on the 3rd one. Who wants to share? Be willing to push yourself out of your comfort zone. Go ahead.
So I'd like to buy a home in the next couple of years, and then just renting.
Okay, she wants to buy a home in the next couple of years. Tell me more.
And then also I would like to start a family.
She wants to start a family. Awesome. So that's an experience and an object. Second, anyone else want to share? Thank you.
I want to buy a $130,000 wakeboard boat.
And I thought my Porsche 911 was. Tell me it again.
A $130,000 wakeboard boat.
A wakeboard boat for 100. No, I love it. Are you kidding me? I think it's great. $130,000 wakeboarding boat. What model? What brand?
Probably a ski nautique.
Okay. The clearer you get, by the way, on what that is, the easier it gets. Anyone else?
I thought of someone.
Yes.
I didn't know exactly what you're getting at. I want my own 10 acres in Davis County.
Okay, 10 acres in Davis County. You can see it. What do you want to do with it?
Build a nice house and have 4 cows, 3 horses and 2 pigs.
All right. Who else? You're starting to wake up here. We start talking about things. What about an experience? You want to start a family. Go ahead, Eric.
I want to see my 6 children find the individual success is defined by progressive realization of worthy goals. So it's not about objects. You know, the older you get, it seems like objects become and money become less and less important. Anyway, I'm just being honest.
You want to go on the road with me?
Let's go.
Let's do it. He just nailed it on the head.
You'll skip him back after a day.
Okay. Please send him Mel, but send him with the return label.
Yeah, there you go.
All expenses paid, return label. So no, let me capture what he said because it was really powerful. He wants his kids to live a life with purpose. He wants to watch his kids live a life with purpose. That's what he just said. I'm paraphrasing, of course, to meet the objectives of my keynote, but that's what he said. He wants to watch his kids not have to worry about profits, customers, and marketing strategies, operations, and systems. He wants them to worry about people. By the way, if I ever worked with you on a strategic plan, the last thing I'll ever talk about are profits. You will have an awesome operating plan, operating budget, and business budgets, but it's the last thing we will talk about. And I promise your business will grow infinitely. And guess what? You will love it. And so will everybody around you. Second question. Anybody doubt that? Because I'm looking for a new challenge. Second question. What, and this is harder for others to answer. What growth experience do you want to have? I'll share with you mine. Anyone know who Brene Brown is? I know I throw a lot of names out, but I read a lot, and I watch what a lot of other thought leaders are doing and saying. Brene Brown is an exceptional writer, an exceptional speaker on the topic of vulnerability. She talks about those who experience life with vulnerability experience the most joy in life. So one of my growth experiences is I would love to work with Brene Brown. Her work is changing the landscape right now. It fits in line with what I believe of purpose-driven lives, purpose-driven organizations. That's mine. Anyone have one they want to share? You're my ringer, I told you.
Oh, I want to serve 5 full-time missions for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints
Love it.
before I die.
Love it. Say it again.
Say what again?
Say
before I die?
your growth experience.
Oh, I want to serve 5 full-time missions for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints before I die. So with my wife.
Anyone think that would change his life? Would it change his business? Would it change the way he views business? Anyone else have one? Anyone who hasn't written one down? Be totally honest, raise your hand. One person hasn't, 2 hasn't? So that you have not? So that means 93% of the room have and just aren't courageous enough to tell me what it is. Mel's got one.
So I would love to take a sabbatical from work. You guys can't put anything you want me to do this. But I'd love to take like a 3-month or 6-month sabbatical and go to a country where I don't speak the language and teach English as a second language.
I love that.
Rachel's with me.
Rachel's in, so looks like we're gonna be hiring here soon. I'm with you, by the way. I'm with you. I'm at a point in my life right now where I have achieved a certain level of financial success. That financial success doesn't quite turn me on. I've achieved personal success. I've traveled the world. As Mel said, I traveled the world with Tony Robbins for 5-ish years. I have been literally around the world and back. I've worked with the top speakers, business minds, thought leaders you can imagine in the world, and I am insatiable in my drive to give back right now. Insatiable. I was in Cabo San Lucas last week. And literally, I flew in last night from Cabo San Lucas. And I was kind of bored there. Because to me, I don't like to spend my time kind of doing anything other than helping or giving back. It didn't do much for me to be sitting in a luxury resort. You know what I mean? Huh? No, and I might be someone who takes it to an extreme. I mean, I worked with Tony Robbins. He's certainly not known for anything other than being complete extremist. But drive, purpose wakes me up in the morning. Do you know that part of the reason why I was so excited to come here? I couldn't get here fast enough. on my vacation. Because I don't quite honestly believe in vacations anymore. I take 3 times a year, by the way, 3 times consistently, I check out of work. I check out of money. I check out of business plans and operating plans and strategic plans and ugh. And I check into my mind, my heart, my soul, my spirit. And I have those growth experiences as much as possible. Third thing, and some of you have kind of beat me to the punch, the third thing you want to find out for yourself and the people on your teams, what or how do you want to give back to this world? How do you want to contribute to this world? Take a second and jot that down. Mel mentioned that she wants to take a sabbatical and go to third world countries, or just any country that's non-English speaking. Any country. So she really wants to go to countries in need and give back. Who has one they want to share? This is a big one. Thank you.
I want to be a good father.
Wants to be a good father. We need more of those.
I want to teach others just how to change their lives through caring. I feel like it's such a me generation that we live in right now, and it's what's in it for me. And if I can teach others to take a step back and really gain more by doing what can I do for you, that would be really powerful.
You are already doing it. You can look at my journal right now. I wrote down what you said. I sat back in that chair, and I wrote down exactly what you said. And right by your name, I wrote conscious leader. So you were well on your way. Anyone else? I am driven to help people live lives of meaning. Obviously, after having a tragic experience in my life and my family's life, you don't come out of that unchanged. Thankfully. So what was literally the most tragic day of my life is the biggest gift I've ever been given. Without that, I would not be here today. There's no way. And I wouldn't be doing the work that I'm doing. I wouldn't be helping the people I do it. And by the way, I focus on business people. I specifically focus on small business owners that run organizations 10 million and under, because that is the backbone of this country. I see the mind, heart, body, soul, spirit of all of you. And we're literally the future of where this country is going, where business is going, where commerce is going. But we have to shift the way we're doing it. We have to make it about purpose, conscious leadership. We have to make it about culture, and we have to make it about our stakeholders. Any questions? Now, why, Talanya Geary? Why should I care about what you're saying? Why? Why did I spend all week obsessing about the things to bring to you, how to bring it, how to say it? You're all in the business of insurance in some way or another, right? Do you love it? Do you love what you do? What I share with you today, conscious capitalism, living, driving, building, growing business with purpose, social responsibility is your insurance policy. What does that mean? It means we're almost done, Talanya. It means we're so close. What's up?
Say that the world will go on.
The world will go on, but I'm giving you a way to ensure that your business will be here to pass down to the gentleman 10 years from now, to pass down to your families, to leave legacies, and more importantly, above all, for you to make a difference in this world and for you to make a difference around everybody that's around you. It's one of my favorite quotes. Does anybody know who Herb Kelleher is? No? Sorry, I'm standing in your way. He is a former CEO of Southwest Airlines. Who flies Southwest? A lot, I'd say most people here, I would imagine. And I use this all the time, but he says this to his employees, and it's an embodiment of their culture, that he's betting on their minds, he's betting on their hearts, their souls, and their spirits for their success. And that's what I want to leave you all with, is I'm betting on your minds. I'm betting on your minds these last 45 minutes to do the right thing, your hearts to drive you towards the right direction, your spirits to guide you, and your souls to make a difference. On that note, I want to thank you guys for letting me share my story with you. I want to thank you for opening up, sharing your dreams, your growth experiences, your goals, and more importantly, I want to leave you all with hopefully the motivation to go back to your teams, your organizations, and to breathe a new life and new purpose in them. Thank you guys for having me here today. I wish you all the best, and I hope to see you all very soon.